Have you ever felt a deep sense of imbalance in the world? A nagging feeling that something is profoundly amiss? What if the disharmony you feel is not accidental, but the direct consequence of a deliberate, long-forgotten act of suppression, a suppression of the most fundamental force of creation itself? Today we will uncover a hidden history, a reality where the divine feminine, once revered and honored, was deliberately diminished, its power fragmented and concealed, and we will expose how this has impacted every aspect of your life and our collective reality. This isn't merely an academic exercise. This is a revelation about your own personal power and how to reclaim it, connecting personal transformation to global healing. The imbalance we witness in our relationships, our societies, and our planet itself stems from the systematic dismantling of feminine wisdom, a force that is not just historical but intimately connected to your inner being. Let's consider the central premise: that the suppression of the divine feminine was not a random occurrence, but a calculated effort to control spiritual power. Certain bloodlines were manipulated, their potential harnessed to hoard influence, creating a false hierarchy of divine access, yet we will show that true access to the divine is a universal right, not limited by lineage, and that the power to embody the goddess lies dormant within each and every one of us, waiting to be awakened. This understanding is critical for reclaiming your personal agency and creating a more harmonious existence. We will follow a recurring pattern throughout our exploration. Today, the cycle of suppression followed by revelation. We will first demonstrate how knowledge was intentionally obscured, and then we will provide the real insights, illuminating the hidden dynamics of power and showing you how to utilize this understanding. Now, let's delve into the historical context. Conventional narratives portray patriarchy as the default model of human civilization, but a deeper investigation reveals a very different story. Consider the ancient matriarchal societies, such as Minoan Crete or the community of Catalhoyuk. Archaeological evidence indicates these societies were not anomalies, but rather examples of a different way of living, based on feminine leadership and the worship of the goddess, where balance and harmony were the foundation of their social and spiritual structure. These were not utopian myths, but real societies that thrived for centuries before being systematically dismantled and replaced by patriarchal systems. This is not just a shift in governance, but a calculated attempt to control access to divine power and replace it with a system of rigid control. This suppression has profound implications that resonate across personal, social, and planetary levels. It is not merely a historical curiosity, but a deep wound that continues to manifest as imbalance and disempowerment in our lives, creating a sense of separation from the deeper truths of our being. This knowledge is not widely available or commonly understood. It has been deliberately hidden, tucked away in the esoteric traditions and forgotten lore. This information is critical for reclaiming your personal power and for understanding the roots of the discord we see in our world. Reclaiming feminine divinity is about more than understanding the past. It is a practical path towards self-mastery and a method to actively create a reality that is more authentic and in alignment with your true self, and a way to restore a sense of balance on the planet itself. This is not just about you, it's about the collective. Let's begin with essential background elements that may challenge some commonly held beliefs. The concept of sacred bloodlines has been distorted and manipulated, creating a false sense of divine right and exclusivity. The idea that some are born with a higher spiritual potential than others is a lie designed to maintain control. Now consider this: every single human being has a direct connection to the divine, a birthright that cannot be taken away by artificial constructs. The term sacred bloodline should not imply exclusivity, but rather highlight the power inherent within the human lineage itself. Now let's look at the inner goddess. This is not about a literal deity, but a profound, powerful force within each individual, irrespective of gender, an archetypal energy of intuition, flow, creativity, and connection. The experience of this inner goddess is personal and direct, and is not a philosophical idea, but a powerful force of nature accessible to everyone. We will embark on a journey following two distinct, yet converging paths: historical perspectives and esoteric teachings. Through careful examination of historical narratives and esoteric traditions, we will uncover the deeper truths about the divine feminine, the origins of its suppression, and its significance for our present reality, showing how past suppression is linked to present disempowerment. We will also explore the essential dynamic of dualistic balance, the interplay between masculine and feminine forces. This isn't just a theoretical concept, but the key to unlocking personal power and harmony, showing that our collective reality is currently based on an imbalance of these two forces, which we will correct, both internally and externally, through the application of these methods. Consider now the layered questions. What happened to the goddess cultures? How has this wisdom been suppressed? Who benefits from the suppression of the divine feminine? How did the concept of sacred bloodlines become a tool for control? And what does this mean for your personal journey? The wisdom we are about to explore has been kept within the secret traditions of mystery schools, available only to those who are ready to challenge the status quo. This wisdom has a profound potential to transform the way you view yourself and the world around you. You will discover that access to this transformative power is within reach. The threads of suppression and revelation will repeat throughout our journey. We will trace how specific texts and historical events have been manipulated to diminish the role of the divine feminine, while simultaneously revealing that the key to rediscovering this knowledge lies within these same suppressed texts and misinterpreted events. Prepare to explore practical methods for activating your inner goddess power, techniques for reclaiming your personal sovereignty, and bringing balance back into your lives. You will see how these seemingly separate areas are all connected, and you will be given the tools to experience this connection directly. This is a journey into a hidden reality, a quest to reclaim lost wisdom, and an invitation to transform your own life. You will gain access to the hidden and use it to make the hidden visible. The next step will bring practical techniques for transformation that are designed to activate the dormant power that resides within you. Now prepare to witness a reality that has been deliberately obscured, a history that has been actively rewritten, and a power that is rightfully yours, waiting to be reclaimed. Let's delve into the lost world of matriarchal societies, where the divine feminine was not just honored, but was the very foundation of social and spiritual life. Consider Minoan Crete, a civilization that flourished for centuries, where women held prominent positions in religious and secular life, and their art reflected a deep connection with nature and the goddess. Their palaces, such as Knossos, were not fortresses, but centers of community, and their art depicted women in positions of power, participating in rituals and public life, with a focus on natural beauty and the flow of life. There are no depictions of war, conquest, or oppression in their art, suggesting a way of life completely different from what we know today. Imagine for a moment a society where the feminine principles of nurturing, intuition, and cooperation guided social structures, where power was not wielded through domination, but through collaboration and wisdom. This is not just a theory or a myth, but a historical reality, and just one example of a different possible human existence. Then there is Catalhoyuk, a Neolithic settlement in what is now Turkey, which presents a similar picture. Archaeological findings reveal a society that was not only egalitarian, but also deeply spiritual, with a focus on the worship of the goddess as the source of life, as demonstrated by the multitude of female figurines found there. Their homes were communal, and daily life was centered around the earth and its cycles. These societies, and many others like them, demonstrate a way of living that prioritized the interconnectedness of all things, a way of life that was both sustainable and deeply fulfilling. The art of these societies reveals a powerful connection to nature, a reverence for the cyclical patterns of life, and an emphasis on balance and harmony. Even early Celtic cultures, for example, held women as powerful spiritual leaders, priestesses, and healers, respected for their wisdom and connection to the earth and its rhythms. These are not isolated examples, they are threads in a rich tapestry of history, demonstrating that patriarchy has not always been the dominant paradigm. But how did these societies, which honored the feminine and fostered collaboration, fall? The answer lies in a calculated, violent overthrow by patriarchal forces who sought not only to dominate, but to erase the very memory of this way of living. The rise of Indo-European cultures brought with it a focus on male dominance and aggression. Goddess worship was systematically replaced with the worship of male deities, thus establishing patriarchal religious systems. This wasn't a natural transition, it was an active, deliberate dismantling of a previous order, and the evidence of this overthrow can be seen in the destruction of sacred sites, the rewriting of historical texts, and the persecution of those who continued to practice the old ways. The sacred groves were desecrated, the temples were replaced with fortresses, and the stories of the goddess were twisted and distorted, thus setting the stage for a new era of control and domination. Consider the deliberate acts of violence committed to suppress these cultures, the burning of temples, the murder of priestesses, and the erasure of sacred feminine symbols. This was not a passive replacement, but an aggressive, calculated campaign to dismantle a society centered on feminine power, and the echoes of this violence can still be felt today. The knowledge of the goddess was not just forgotten, it was actively suppressed, and the rise of patriarchal systems brought with it rigid hierarchies, the subjugation of women, and a disconnection from the natural world, the very things these earlier cultures held so dear. Now notice how this historical suppression laid the foundation for the world we inhabit today, one where feminine wisdom is often devalued, and where power is wielded through domination rather than cooperation. This was done intentionally to control the masses through the suppression of knowledge, and this process is still happening today. Let's unpack the core pattern, the deliberate suppression of the feminine, and the distortion of historical narratives. See how patriarchal systems actively diminished the role of goddesses in religious texts, replacing them with male figures of authority, while also using these altered texts to justify social hierarchies, thus reinforcing the idea that power should belong to a select few. This created a cycle of control that has shaped our world for thousands of years. Notice also how the concept of sacred bloodlines was manipulated, establishing a false hierarchy that limited spiritual access to an elite few, and how this concept of royal blood was used to justify monarchical power, claiming a divine right that was meant to keep power concentrated in the hands of a select group, effectively creating a barrier between the people and their own spiritual sovereignty. But what if I told you that this concept is nothing more than a carefully constructed myth? The truth is that every human being carries the spark of the divine within, a direct connection to the source that cannot be claimed by any bloodline, and the idea of royal blood is a deliberate attempt to control spiritual access and maintain power over the masses. The true power of the goddess is not something that is inherited or bestowed by any external authority, but an inherent, internal force accessible to all. The very idea that divinity resides in a specific lineage is a tool of control, designed to create a system of dependence and power, a system that is designed to keep you from exploring your own potential and inner divinity. Now shift your focus inward and consider the possibility that you possess a direct connection to the divine, that the potential for goddess power is not something to be sought outside yourself, but is an intrinsic part of your very being. This inner goddess is not a literal entity, but a manifestation of the divine feminine, an archetypal energy of intuition, creativity, compassion, and inner wisdom that resides within each individual, regardless of gender. This inner power is not a gift granted by some external force, but an innate quality, a birthright that cannot be taken away. It is your inheritance, waiting to be recognized, activated, and embodied. So how do you access this inner power? The key is to reject the victim mentality, the idea that you are at the mercy of external forces, and instead step into your role as a conscious creator. To begin, find practices that nurture your feminine energy. Engage in mindfulness meditations that allow you to connect to your inner wisdom and pay attention to the cycles of the moon, understanding how they influence your own energy and emotions. Embrace embodied dance, allowing your body to express itself freely, connecting you to the natural rhythms of life, and seek to awaken your creative intuition. Remember that the goal is not to achieve perfection, but to honor your unique path and fully embrace your inner power. These are practical tools that can be used in your daily life, and this is not just a theoretical idea, but something that can be felt, experienced, and embodied in the here and now. Let's deepen our understanding with a look at esoteric connections, for the ancient wisdom traditions have always known that the divine feminine is an internal power, and the external religious and power structures are specifically designed to keep this truth hidden. The principle of as above, so below reminds us that what exists within also manifests without, so your inner world is a reflection of your outer world, and vice versa. As you connect with your own inner divinity, you are also aligning with the cosmic forces that govern all existence, and the outer sacred sites act as mirrors, reflecting the inner temple that resides within you. The ancients understood that these physical sites were portals, not just to the divine, but also to the deeper parts of ourselves, and this connection to both inner and outer worlds is the very foundation of transformation. Now see how practices that connect you to your inner power also connect you to a greater universal force, breaking down the illusion of separation. By reconnecting with your inner goddess, you reclaim your sovereignty, your ability to choose your own destiny, and to break free from the limiting beliefs and patterns that keep you imprisoned. Inner goddess power is the power to reshape your own narrative, to rewrite the story of your life from a place of authenticity and self-trust, thus transforming self-doubt into an unwavering belief in your own potential. This isn't merely an abstract concept, it is a practical approach to reclaiming your life. You are not at the mercy of your past experiences or the limiting beliefs of others, for within you lies an unlimited power. Understand that by consciously choosing to connect with your inner goddess, you are not just healing yourself, but contributing to the healing of the collective, creating a powerful ripple effect that touches all of existence. It is a choice, a practice, and a powerful shift in perspective. Now let's move to a more cosmic perspective by showing you that the divine feminine is not just a historical construct or an internal experience, but an active creative principle present throughout the entire universe. This is not simply a passive force of receptivity, but a dynamic power that is equally essential for the creation of existence itself. Look to ancient cosmologies that often depict the feminine principle as the source of all creation, the mother of the world, who gives birth to all forms, demonstrating the importance of the womb as the symbol of creation. In many traditions, the feminine is associated with the primordial waters, the source of all life, and the great void that contains all potential. This is not merely a historical idea, but a description of the very nature of reality. Consider the very fabric of existence and the role of the divine feminine within it, seeing this power as a living, breathing force that actively shapes the very structure of the cosmos. The Gnostic traditions understood the divine feminine as a vital aspect of creation. Consider the story of Sophia, often called wisdom in Gnostic texts, an emanation of the divine who played a critical role in the creation of the cosmos. Sophia represents the wisdom and creative potential of the divine feminine, but also acknowledges that the universe could not have been created without both the masculine and feminine aspects. The Gnostics saw the divine feminine as a source of revelation, a guide that could lead humanity toward higher understanding. Sophia's story speaks to the importance of embracing the feminine, not as a passive element, but as an active and essential force in the dance of creation and an archetype for navigating reality itself. Notice how this archetype applies to our internal world, showing that we also need both masculine and feminine to create balance in our own inner experience, a balance that is reflected in the outer world. It's important to reinforce the necessity of balance between these two forces, the masculine and feminine working in harmony, like the alchemical symbol of the sacred marriage. True personal power arises not from the dominance of one force over the other, but from the inner union of these two energies. When your internal masculine and feminine are in balance, you unlock access to your full potential, creating a more harmonious outer world. You are not separate from the forces of nature, but one with them. What happens within has a direct effect on the world outside, and by cultivating inner balance, you contribute to a greater peace in the world. This is a powerful concept, the idea that personal healing is also planetary healing, that your inner transformation has profound implications for the collective. This is not just wishful thinking, but a fundamental truth about the interconnectedness of all things. Finally, contemplate how your personal actions connect to a larger cosmic process. Individual self-transformation is not separate from planetary evolution, it is a direct contribution to it. When you choose to heal yourself, you also contribute to the healing of the world, creating a powerful ripple effect that spreads outward, and the very idea of separation is an illusion. Practices that align you with the heart of the planet, such as specific meditations and rituals, connect you to a larger purpose, thus strengthening your own power and promoting balance. Consider that when individuals consciously choose to align their hearts with the earth, they are participating in a divine dance and actively contributing to the creation of a world of peace, balance, and unity. This is not just an esoteric concept, but a clear path to personal and global transformation, a method to align with the divine and shape a new reality, both within and without. The time has come to synthesize all that we have explored, to bring together the seemingly disparate threads of suppressed feminine power, manipulated bloodlines, the inner goddess, and cosmic balance. These are not separate concepts, but interconnected elements of a single, unified dynamic, one that has shaped human history and continues to influence our individual lives. Understand that the deliberate suppression of the divine feminine, the distortion of sacred bloodlines, and the limitation of access to spiritual power are all facets of a single strategy to control the masses and maintain power. To truly unlock your potential and to create a more balanced world, it is essential to grasp the interconnectedness of these elements. Each one provides a critical piece of the puzzle, which, when assembled, reveals a complete picture of our present reality, as well as the path to our liberation and the healing of our planet. All of humanity has the capacity to directly connect with the divine and to actively co-create their realities, regardless of their lineage or background. This is the key to personal sovereignty and global transformation. Now, recall the practical steps that we've discussed for activating your inner goddess. These are not just esoteric exercises, but tools of empowerment that directly connect you to the core themes we've explored. The mindfulness meditations, the lunar cycle awareness, and the embodied dance practices are not merely personal methods for feeling better, but are potent techniques for reclaiming your authentic power and sovereignty. They are a way to connect to your inner wisdom and to align with the natural rhythms of life. By using these practices, you not only transform your own experience, but you also actively contribute to the healing of the collective. Feel the urgency of this moment, the call to take these tools and apply them to your life with conscious intent, understanding that each step taken is a step toward liberation, both for yourself and for the world. Each act of inner connection reverberates outward, creating waves of positive change. Let us look closer at the way these themes are all connected. The manipulated bloodlines and the suppressed divine feminine are not independent issues, but are two sides of the same coin, each controlled by the same patriarchal systems. The intention was to keep humanity disconnected from its own divine source, believing that spiritual access is controlled by an external power and not an intrinsic right. By limiting your access to your own inner divinity, these structures created a system of dependence that served only those at the top of the hierarchy. However, the true key to freedom lies within the very essence of your own being, and this is the real power of individual awakening. It's through reconnecting with that inner spark that the illusion of separation fades away, replaced with an understanding of your own potential and the interconnectedness of all things. This is not just an esoteric idea, but a practical method for transforming the world by transforming yourself. Let's shift your perspective, for the divine feminine has not truly been lost, but simply obscured, hidden beneath layers of control and misinformation. The power to reclaim the divine feminine has always resided within you, an ever-present potential waiting to be awakened. Even though external structures have attempted to limit access to the divine, the energy of the goddess continues to pulse within every individual, regardless of gender or background. You are not at the mercy of these external systems, but are a powerful force capable of transforming your reality and the world around you. Understand that the knowledge and tools you have gained in this video are not just information, but a call to action, a permission slip to step into your authentic power and create the life you were always meant to live. You are an agent of change, and the revolution begins within you. Now broaden your scope and see how all the ideas we've discussed connect to a larger context of planetary healing and human evolution. Your personal journey to reconnect with the divine feminine is also a vital part of a larger global awakening. The healing of your individual wounds creates ripples of positive change in the collective consciousness, and as you transform your inner world, you contribute to the restoration of balance in all spheres of existence. Know that your work is not just for yourself, but also for the planet and for all of humanity. Inner transformation is not a solitary endeavor, but a profound act of service that ripples outward to heal the world. Each act of self-love, self-acceptance, and inner connection has the potential to reshape the very fabric of reality. Consider the significance of the recurring pattern of suppression and revelation that we have explored throughout this video. This cycle is not a fixed reality, but a pattern that can be broken through awareness and active engagement. The consistent attempts to suppress the feminine are not a sign of weakness, but are powerful indicators of the immense potential it holds. As you become aware of this pattern, you gain the power to change it and to create a new reality that is based on balance and harmony. The very act of recognizing this recurring dynamic allows you to step outside of it, choosing to actively create a life that reflects your authentic power, rather than repeating the patterns of the past. The awareness you now possess is the key to breaking free from the cycle of control. Let's unpack the implications of the knowledge you now possess. Understanding the interconnectedness of inner and outer realities is the key to both personal and global transformation. As you embrace the power of the inner goddess, you will naturally create a life of greater joy, abundance, and freedom, and this inner shift will transform your relationships, your communities, and your connection to the earth. Reclaiming your feminine energy is not just an act of self-empowerment, but a path to building a more compassionate and harmonious world. This transformation is not just an idea, but a potential waiting to be realized through your conscious choice to embrace your divine feminine and your own authentic power. As you embody this power, you contribute to a world where all are valued and honored. Let's emphasize the transformational nature of this knowledge. It's not just information, but a catalyst for profound personal and global change. By applying the practical techniques that have been shared and embracing a new perspective, you now possess the power to reshape your own life and to contribute to the healing of the world. It is now time to consciously step into your power and become the co-creator of your reality rather than a passive observer of it. The tools you need are not something to seek outside yourself, but are already within you, waiting to be used to create the life you truly desire. This is the power of self-mastery. You are not limited by your past, but empowered by your potential. Now let's return to the questions we asked at the beginning of this journey about the suppression of the divine feminine and the manipulation of sacred bloodlines. By exploring the hidden history of matriarchal societies, by understanding the manipulation of power structures, and by activating the inner goddess, we have found clear answers to the questions that brought us here. These answers are not just theories, but practical solutions that can be applied to our daily lives to create a positive and lasting change. We now understand the nature of the forces at play, but more importantly, we have the tools to create a more balanced and harmonious world for ourselves and for future generations. This knowledge isn't an end, but a beginning, a foundation upon which to build a new reality. Consider the completion of our central pattern of suppression and revelation. The awareness that you now possess is not just knowledge, it is power, and with that power comes the capacity to step outside of the old patterns and to create a new reality based on balance, harmony, and truth. By recognizing the cycle of control and distortion, you now possess the keys to break free from it. You can consciously choose to create a life that is aligned with the divine feminine, thus empowering yourself and contributing to the healing of the world. This completion is not just intellectual, but a deeply felt sense of alignment and purpose. Now you see the full pattern and have the power to change it. Let's now resolve the central tensions that brought us here. The answers we have uncovered are not designed to instill fear, but to empower you to take control of your own destiny. The information you now possess provides a path forward, moving beyond victimhood and into a space of personal agency. The very questions that sparked this exploration have now become avenues for empowerment and transformation. The tensions that were once present have now been replaced with a sense of understanding and purpose, as you have discovered the power to actively shape your life and the world around you. The answers have not only resolved old questions, they have opened new avenues for exploration. Let's release any lingering doubts and fears and embrace the power of your own agency and the practical methods that you have now been given. Know that you are not alone on this journey and that the path to transformation is one of hope and possibility, not fear and limitation. The journey that we have embarked on is not about struggle, but about the joy of self-discovery and the potential to consciously co-create a new reality. Understand that you are not limited by the past, but empowered by the future. The chains of illusion have been broken, and you are free to create a life of your choosing, aligned with your authentic self and the forces of creation. Now that you understand the power of the inner goddess, how will you use it to create the world that you want to see? What new paths and possibilities are opening up for you now? In what areas of your life will you apply this newfound awareness? Let these questions guide you as you continue your journey of self-discovery and exploration, for there is no end to this process, only new beginnings, and now is your moment to begin. We may delve into specific esoteric traditions, advanced techniques for energy work, or the practical applications of inner goddess power in various areas of your life in future videos, and we will continue to explore how personal and global transformation are connected. This is an ongoing process, one that unfolds over time as you grow and expand your awareness. Share your insights and experiences in the comments below and connect with others who are walking a similar path, for this is not a journey that you are meant to do alone, but a collective awakening to the power of the divine feminine. What are your thoughts? How will you implement the knowledge you have gained? This is a community of learning, and together we can create a more harmonious world. Together, we will build a new reality based on truth and love. The journey of the inner goddess has just begun. Now let's create a world where all beings are in harmony as we awaken the divine within. Be sure to like this video, share it with anyone who might benefit from this information, subscribe to the channel, and join us for the next part of this great adventure. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.